Yeah. Your town nice. Stay in the know. Hardin County. Talk loud. Hardin local got the whole town down. From Radcliff Rose to the E-Town Square. If it's going down, you'll hear it right here. Nate got the scoop when the business grow. Nate's business buzz, let the whole town know. New shop popping, yeah, the word gon' flow. Local grind strong, let the spotlight glow. Then J.O.B. with the weekend plans. Events in the county for the whole fam. Concerts, festivals, places to go. Circle that calendar so you don't miss the show. Stay in the Hardin County. Yeah. Rachel got the numbers when the market move. Housing update, let the data prove who's buying what and where things go. Smart move start when you stay in the know. Then the food talk hit when the mic get lit. Experience eater, tell them where to sit. New spot, fire, yeah, we gotta go. Local plates hot, let the flavor show. Small town roots, but the vision big. Every local story with the gig. From the sports park lights to the downtown glow. Hardin local on the mic, now the whole town knows. Stay in the know. Hardin County. Hardin local. Let it ride. Head bopping local tonight. Hardin County on the vibe. From the news to the food to the city lights. Stay in the know. Hardin County. Built it from nothing, now the whole town know. Found it with the plan and the mic in hand. Hardin local roots all across the land. Sky on the co-host with the guns out flex. Sleeveless every season, what you gonna expect? Keep it real, keep it loud, keep the people fed. If the shirt got sleeves, then it's left on red. From the mic to the street, from the town to the show. Hardin local on the beat, yeah, the whole county know. Real stories, real folks, every voice in the flow. Hardin County, stand up. Stay in the know. Hardin County. Hardin local. Let it ride. Head bopping local tonight. Ooh, let us ride. Hardin County.
Welcome to Hardin Local. With
All right,
Hardin.
we have to start off by saying I've never really heard a local custom song about Hardin County, Kentucky mixed with flute and hip hop music, and neither did I think I needed one. Now I got Hardin Local stuck in my head, and I thank you for that, Bill Tall. That was 4 minutes of jam, is what that was.
You're welcome. I spent a good full evening on that with
that was pretty sweet. I know that's not real formal of an introduction, but wow, yeah.
Oh, it's all good. We just dropped that thing yesterday. You know, I never thought anybody needed it except
straight
for
to number
you,
one, you know.
Right. It even has the electric banjo.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It works, I think. If you guys don't like it, audience, then, you know, let us know. We'll come up with something better.
Maybe
But
that's
I
how
like
we get more views as we just keep putting up annoying songs until people.
Well, the goal is for people to think Hardin local, Hardin County, and stay in the know.
Yeah.
I repeat it every time. It's that Hardin local branding. Which, speaking of, welcome to Hardin Local with Hardin County Government. I'm Phil Tall. This is our monthly series where we connect you directly with departments and people who serve Hardin County. This is episode 6 of the 25 to 26 season, and today we're going inside the E-911 dispatch center, the people behind every emergency call in Hardin County. Joining me are 2 E-911 supervisors, Michelle Bowen. Is it Bowen or Bowen?
Bowen.
Bowen. All right. And Tyler, how do you pronounce your last name?
Heiser.
Tyler Heiser. And as always, Brian Walker, Hardin
It's
County's
pronounced
communication
hi, sir.
officer. Hi, sir.
Hi, sir.
Hi, sir.
Brian, before we get into it, what's going on with the county?
So we've got the usual things, some great job openings for you. You can find all of those at hardincountyky.gov, and some great opportunities for you, including as a 911 telecommunicator, also full and part-time paramedics, kennel technician. And yes, if you decide to go to work for the animal shelter, yes, the answer is you can pet that dog. You can also pet the cats. Engineering technician, EMT full-time, advanced and part-time, EMT part-time and full-time as well. And you can find, again, all those applications at hardincountyky.gov. And we had our shredding event on the first working day of the month, which we do every month for paper shredding. And that has a new route. And we've put some things up on social media about that. When you go to the road department to pull in, instead of coming in and out of the regular entrance, there is a temporary only or a part-time only entrance that you'll use to go into the facility, drive up, drop your paper bag, get a new bag, and then drive out. That's free for anybody that is a Hardin County resident. You can get those bags at the shredding events, or you can come to the Hardin County Government Office at 150 North Provident Way here in E-Town. Go to the second floor to Solid Waste Department. They'll be glad to give you one. We have got an electronic scrap recycling event coming up later this month. We've also got more information about the tire amnesty program or tire disposal program. That only comes to each specific county in Kentucky every 3 years. So 40 counties a year get it, and then the next year and the next year. So we're not on that cycle for 3 more years. We just had it last year, but there are a ton of counties around us that have those. All the stuff's on our Facebook page. So just go back through and check out some of our latest posts. And we highly recommend you follow us. And I guess that's basically it for now.
Yeah, and I think I've tagged you guys in this post. If not, let me do that real quick right here. Tab Hardin County Government. Tag that page so that people can click on it nice and easy. There we go. Just added it to the comments on the stream in case you want to go over there and follow them right now. All right, David. David just said, hey, gang.
Hi,
Good
David.
to see you, David. Thanks for joining. All right, well, let's figure out and explain and help people understand what E-911 is. So, Michelle, Tyler, a lot of people hear 911 and think, I'm calling the police. But that's not really what happens when you dial 911 in Hardin County, is it?
So in Hardin County, we have a centralized dispatch center. We are not, we're not under the umbrella of a police department. We are an independent 911 center. We're called a PSAP. So we're the primary public safety answering point in Hardin County. We're the primary PSAP. So anytime you call 911 anywhere in Hardin County, except in Fort Knox, then you will be routed to this center for 911.
Okay. And Brian was saying it was a little unique when I was talking to him, that the judge executive being the ultimate authority and not like a sworn officer in the chain of command.
So
Is that unique?
It is unique. The majority, I would say the majority of 911 centers that I have had dealings with, they are under a police department umbrella. So they are, the ultimate authority is a sworn officer, or, the sheriff or the police chief or whoever it is that they're under. But Hardin County, we've always been independent with our own center since
Okay.
the inception.
That is interesting. So who all does the E-911 center actually dispatch for? Because it's not just the sheriff's office.
So we dispatch for multiple agencies, the Sheriff's Office, Hardin County Sheriff's Office, the Radcliff Police Department, Vine Grove Police Department. We still dispatch and handle everything in West Point, but the Sheriff's Office covers that area for them. And then we've got Hardin County EMS, Animal Control, the Coroner's Office, and then all 13 fire departments.
13 fire department.
Those
I
are
had
the
no
ones
clue
that those are the ones that are not Elizabethtown or Radcliffe.
No.
Okay.
Well, actually, we also dispatch for Elizabethtown and Radcliffe.
Oh,
departments.
look
Yeah.
at that. Information I didn't have right. Thank you.
Good job reading that note that said to act like you didn't know, so we'd make a better point. Brian Sankey just popped up. Hey, Brian, good to see you. Oh, well, we don't really like, sorry guys, I should have read that before. We don't really do, that could be seen as a political thing. So we're just going to move on. Brian, it's good to see you though. I just try not to, promote anything like that during these, but anyway, here is something a lot of people probably don't know. If you're in Radcliffe and you call 911, you're not getting Radcliffe Police Department. You're getting the county E-911 center. I know we're hammering this one home, but do you guys know how that came about? Or
So
did you?
actually, like I said earlier, from the beginning, Hardin County 911 has been the primary PSAP in Hardin County. So anytime you dial 911 in this county, you're directed to us. We did recently, within the last, what's it been, 2 or 3 years,
Yes.
we started dispatching for Radcliffe Police Department. So even now, if you call an admin line for Radcliffe Police, you're directed to our center because we answer all their admin calls since we are dispatching for their police department now. It was just a way to have things a little more streamlined since we're dispatching for their fire department. So we went ahead and, the powers that be got together and it got together and decided that maybe it was in the best interest of the county for us to dispatch for their police department also. And I think that also freed up some funds for them in their city to use for other public safety things, initiatives that they have.
That's interesting. Okay. Well, thank you for that. And I also understand that you also cover beyond the county border in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
We do. Primarily, you'll see this in the Sonora and Upton area. The fire departments and EMS specifically, county lines mean nothing to them. They have, jurisdictions. Hardin County EMS has an agreement with LaRue County EMS that they'll respond directly across the street from the Sonora station is LaRue County. So it's closer to them. So they will respond to those calls because a county line should never matter during an emergency. It's who can get there the fastest. Competency and speed is what matters in an emergency, not what county line are you sitting on. So the fire departments down in Sonora and Upton, they also, go over the county lines and cover in that LaRue County area as well.
So kind of like teamwork makes the dream work for you.
Mm-hmm.
In those situations. It's good to hear. One more thing on the technical side, we call it E-911. The E, I think I do VoIP stuff, so I think it stands for enhanced, but maybe you could let us know what does it actually mean?
So the E actually does stand for enhanced. I think a lot of people think it stands for emergency, but it does stand for enhanced. And what that means is when 911 was created, it was just basic 911. All we received was the telephone number of the person that was calling. We did not get any location information. With the development of enhanced 911 several years ago, then that meant that we also received location information with every phone call, cell phones or landlines.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was just working on a new phone system for my other job earlier, and I was setting up the E-911 for it here.
We have a lot of people that have VoIP systems, and they don't change their information if they move, especially with us being close to Fort Knox. So if you have a VoIP system, then you will be routed to the PSAP that's associated with your address. So if you don't correct your address, then you came from Texas, then your 911 call is going to be routed to Texas, even though you live in Kentucky now. So
and you're going to get a big fine too. I know that much. So make sure you keep those up to date. I'm not gonna pitch my other company though on this podcast. We won't do that. So I saw that you guys had a new CAD system. Is that been implemented? And can you guys explain a little bit about that, the computer aided dispatch?
It has been. It was implemented the 11th of March, and we now utilize 10.8 systems, which is a cloud-based CAD. So basically, it eliminates us having to rely on a local server back in what we call our director's lab, per se. Now it's cloud-based, it's on the internet, which allows us to share incidents across multiple agencies. So we're actually connected with E-Town Police, the Kentucky State Police. Nelson County just went live as well. And Hart County, because they're dispatched by the state police in Bowling Green, they're connected with us as well. So if we have a multi-agency event, we're all connected, we're all on the same sheet of music. We don't have to call and update them to what's going on. They're seeing our updates and we're seeing theirs all at the same time. It's all live.
That's pretty cool. Does it help with reducing call times or dispatch times or anything like that, or is it just more like a way to collaborate all together?
It does reduce the time because it's when we take the primary 911 call in our county, we would, especially in the city of Elizabethtown, transfer that call to E-Town, and they're getting the same information that we've already obtained. Where are you at? What's your name? What's your phone number? What's going on? We're sending them a script that they've already got of, hey, this is what's going on. So they're able to kind of move forward with their questioning for law enforcement versus stepping back like we used to do.
Okay. Well, that sounds like some good new technology that you guys are using. I did have a question from Sherry. She asked, has the app Pulse Point been discontinued? We appreciate all you do.
It has not been discontinued. With this new 10.8 systems CAD, they're still working on the integration for that. So where that system connects to our system, most people don't understand. Dispatch has nothing to do with that system. It's all automated. So basically, the connection that makes all of that automation happen has not been connected yet and completed by the company.
Okay, so it's currently not working. Why do they update the connectors in the back end?
But it will be back. Again?
Yeah, okay. And we also had an interesting comment from David again. It sounds like he may know a few things. Hardin County Dispatch was originally done through Sims Security in downtown E-Town. It became a central dispatch in the late 80s and was located in the old jail, the South Mulberry.
Right.
Any of y'all know if that's true?
It was in
All
the
right.
old jail. Then we moved to the new jail. That's when I started working there. We were in the new jail. Actually, 911, the director was the jailer at one point, was the director of 911 when it first began.
That's
So,
interesting. Definitely. All right, let's go to the next segment, which is I'm calling Inside the Center. Something Brian told me during our planning call that I thought was really interesting is you can't just walk into the E-911 center. There are legal restrictions on who can even be in the building. Why don't you guys tell us a little bit about that?
So since we are law enforcement dispatch, we have access to NCIC, which is the FBI database for a crime center. So you have to be vetted in order to have access to that system. So either you have to go through security protocols or you have to be escorted the whole time you're in the center. So we have locks on the doors. We have to go get you. We can bring you in and show you around, but somebody has to be with you all the time.
Okay. That makes sense too. But walk us through the operations. You're running 24/7, 365 days a year. What does the shift schedule look like?
So our primary schedule is 12-hour shifts on a 2-2-3 rotation. And the 3 days is on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So typically you would have every Friday and Saturday and Sunday off. And with that being on 12-hour shifts, it allows us to give our people time to kind of reset. Take time off, go on a mini vacation is what a lot of our people do. Reset, come back, then you'll work Monday and Tuesday. And it kind of it works best for us because our people and their mental health especially mean a lot to us. So allowing them the opportunity to have 3 days off, go get reset, come back. And with 12-hour shifts, essentially you're only working 14 days a month on that rotation.
Yeah. Provide a little flexibility and, like you said, reset for people, because I am sure it gets pretty crazy up in there at times. What kind of training do dispatchers have to go through?
Since we dispatch for law enforcement, we are required by KRS to be certified by the state of Kentucky. So all of our dispatchers have to go to a 4-week telecommunications academy. It's at Eastern Kentucky University, along with the police academy. So they're there side by side. We also do, so that's 4 weeks of training to be certified. Then you have to have 8 hours training continually every year to remain certified. We also have in-house training. Our training program, we usually keep somebody in training for about a year before we fully release them from training in-house.
I would think it would
So-
take a while because it's what you guys deal with, everything from, choking, poison, traffic accident. I mean, it's probably, you guys probably don't even know how many different issues from day to day
Right.
over.
Right. There's always
symbol.
something different, and you're always learning. Even people that have been here several years, they're always learning something new.
Well, I asked them a little earlier today, I said, you don't have to expose anything specific, but do you have a fun or a humorous call that on those days when it's kind of rough, you can look back and go, well, this was a silly one, or this was a fun one. Michelle relayed one that I thought it was kind of cute, and I think it makes up for those calls that are so bad.
You want to share that one?
I actually had somebody call and tell me that there was a purple alien spaceship flying over their house, and that we really needed to get there fast because they did not want to be abducted by aliens. So an emergency, everybody has their own emergency. So it was an emergency to this person, and we sent the police out there, and they checked it out. There was no alien spacecraft, so it was all good. But we made sure that they didn't get abducted by aliens.
That's great. Tyler, you bring a pretty unique perspective here. You're an E-911 supervisor, but you're also the chief of the Upton Fire Department, I think. How does having both sides of that dispatch and field response shape how you do this work?
So what's unique about that is most people don't consider 911 dispatchers first responders because they think boots on the ground. I see both sides of that. Here, we provide a lot of emergency medical dispatch. So we can walk somebody through, the Heimlich that's choking. We can give aspirin protocols if we believe that they're having a heart attack. We have a protocol for that. We can get that tourniquet on before EMS gets there for bleeding control, and just several different things that we can do here. But as far as being a responder in the field, it's a little bit different because I understand what happens when we hang up that phone and the responders walk in the door. And being able to explain to my callers, hey, 10 people are fixing to walk in your house, it's going to be a little bit overwhelming, but this is what they're about to do, kind of helps their nerves. And then it gets the responders when they walk in that environment. These people already know what they're coming in to do, essentially. So it helps both sides of it.
Okay. I did have a question from Brian Sankey. He asked, are your dispatchers bilingual?
We have a couple of dispatchers that speak conversational Spanish, but we also have an interpreter line. So if anybody calls in any language, we connect with an interpreter line, and then we ask the interpreter questions, and then they'll get the answers for us. So we work with them with that line a lot.
Okay. I hadn't even thought to ask that question.
And I guess we get more of that than you would in, as big as Hardin County is, there's, it's still kind of a rural area in a lot of ways. But with Fort Knox and with the interstate and the U.S. highways that run through in the parkways, we do get people from all over the world through here, not just that live here, but that are traveling. So I'm sure it's not uncommon to get not only a non-English speaking, but likely even a non-Spanish speaking person that needs some help. And that explains how we're able to take care of that.
Yeah.
So we're going to move into this next segment, which I've called the unsung first responder. Here's something that hit me during my prep for this episode. When people think first responder, they think of the officer who showed up, the paramedic who walked in, the firefighter on the truck, but none of those people would know where to go if a dispatcher hadn't sent them. And yet dispatchers are kind of invisible. You never see them. How does that feel doing this work and not really getting that recognition?
Well, I, nobody here looks for recognition. I mean, we don't expect that, but there are a lot of times, especially right here in the building where we are, where people will bring things over to the sheriff's office, bring them goodies, recognize them, and we're over here and nobody seems to know that we exist. But like I said, that's not what we're here for. We don't care. We're just here to help people, and we have a lot of dispatchers that are also first responders, volunteer. We have volunteer firefighters, we have paid firefighters. So it's literally, these people are here to help people. That's what they want to do. That's what they try to do. So that's the most important thing.
Okay. What kind of person chooses this career? Brian was put it to me pretty directly. Said, "Show me a rich dispatcher, and I'll show you a liar." So if it's not the
Well,
money, what is it?
No, I think anybody that gets in government work is not in it for the money. Just helping people is the main thing, but you just feel like you are contributing and doing something important when you are here. And granted, there are a lot of 911 calls that we take that are not emergencies. They are, like the purple alien spaceship. But whenever somebody calls us, it is an emergency to them, and we recognize that. We treat every call with the same level of respect and diligence, no matter what it is. And I think that's what's important to our people, is just, interacting with the public and helping them. We get calls all the time. Somebody called because there was a raccoon in their house. They didn't know what to do. I was telling Brian earlier, we had somebody that called, there was a bee's nest on their front porch and they couldn't get in through their front door. So we just, it's not always a major emergency. Sometimes it's just, I have this thing going on and I don't have any idea who to call. And we actually have a list of people that they can call. We've got beekeepers, we've got snake handlers, just all kind. We have a list of people that have volunteered their services to others in Hardin County. We keep a list, and if something oddball happens, then we're like, oh yeah, I remember that time when we had those bees. Let me go find that phone number. So we try to help people no matter what is going on with them.
Okay. Well, I personally just want to thank you guys for what you do. You probably don't get enough of it, and ask our audience too to make sure you reach out, drop a comment here, send a message to Brian. He can let you know how to thank these people that do work tirelessly in very high stress situations. For anyone watching who thinks they might be that kind of person that wants to, join up and work at an E-911. I think Brian said you guys were hiring, right?
Mm-hmm, yes.
And so how does that work? Just go to the hardincountyky.gov/jobs.
Right. So the process begins on the government website with an application, and then those are forwarded to us, and then we will start the testing process. Nothing moves quick over here. We have background checks, polygraphs, suitability. So it's a 2 to 3 month process, but the way to get it started is through the government website.
All right. We'll get a couple of questions from audience. Teresa's asking, I often see homeless people on the street. I don't know who to call to help them.
So there's another resource in Hardin County and other areas of Kentucky that I think a lot of people don't utilize. It's 211. So 211 is a number you can call for social services issues. You can, food, shelter, anything like that you need, they can connect you with organizations that can help with that. So there's a lot of times people will call here and we will give them the number to 211 so they can get help. So that would be a good place to start.
All right, 211. I didn't even know that either. So good to know. David, again, his comment is saying, don't you just love it when folks call to find out the snowy road conditions?
Well, we do get a lot of those calls. Yes.
What would be
we
the proper
always-
avenue for that type of question?
The state highway does really good about updating their Facebook post, and Brian Walker does good about notifying when any kind of roads are closed and such. So really, social media is your best bet for that. You have to remember these guys are in a basement dispatching emergency services, they're not sure how the roadways are either because they're not out there on them.
Yeah. And is this number still the correct number for the Hardin County non-emergency line? 270-765-5978.
No, it's actually 737-5669.
Let me put that in chat real quick. Non-emergency. What was that number again?
270-737-5669.
There we go. All right. And then Brian asked another question. Do you dispatch specifically by unit or generally organizationally? Yeah.
So when we dispatch, it depends. So for EMS, we dispatch specifically by unit. The fire departments, we dispatch by agency. So we'll dispatch the fire department, tell them what's going on, and then they put their units in service that they need to go to that event.
Okay. So a mix of both.
Right.
And then David did just comment again saying KYTC webpage for road conditions. And I agree, that really is the best place to get that type of information. Which thankfully we shouldn't have to deal with very many road conditions for
Let's
several
hope so
months.
for a while.
That's what I hope. Well, Michelle, Tyler, Brian, thank you. This is one of those departments that most people never think about, but everyone depends on. I want to make sure people know how to follow up. What's the best way for residents to reach the E-911 center if they have questions, not emergencies, but general questions? I'm assuming it's that number I just typed in the chat.
Right. So the number that you typed in comes straight into dispatch. It's 24/7, and they can get it to us. We can answer any questions that anybody might have.
And there's also, I'll put on our hardinlocal.com page, I'll put the Hardin County Gov link to the E-911 Dispatch Center website too.
All right.
And somebody mentioned to me that next week is is it a week for dispatch or first, what is going on next week? Some type of.
So it's next week, I think it's the 12th through the 18th is the National Public Safety Telecommunicator Week. So it's just a week set aside by Congress. I think it started in 1991, I think. So it's just a week set aside to recognize dispatchers. Also, the month of April is Public Safety Education Month. So we try to get out in the community and educate the public on, what to do when you have an emergency, who to call, when not to call, those kinds of things. But that specific week in the month is specifically to recognize dispatchers for the work that they do.
Okay. Well, we definitely I'm glad it aligned where we were actually on here a few days before that week.
Yeah, Tyler kind of planned that. I had them scheduled for a different date, and he said, "Can we do this in the month when it's recognizing what we do?" And I was like, "Oh, well, that's kind of smart." So we have to credit Tyler for us doing this so timely.
You'll have to get EMS next month.
Yeah, that would not be.
Who we have?
We got
Not sure who we have.
Well, we should get them if we don't.
Yeah, we should.
I do want to say though, they'll not ask this, and they won't draw attention to it. But all the Facebook posts and the kind comments people make are nice, but it's certainly not expected, and it's certainly not demanded, and they wouldn't request it. But if anybody wanted to do something a little nice for our telecommunicators, not just with E-911, but with any of our agencies that dispatch for emergency services, they would love to know that you care, obviously. But if you wanted to send them something, something to eat or a note or a card or anything, they would really, really appreciate that. And that non-emergency number you provided is a good way to reach out if you needed to arrange to drop off some food or something like that. And I know your first thought as a person in the public mind always is, oh, get them donuts. Well, these folks like other things too, and so again, I'm not in any way suggesting or saying you should, but if you thought, well, it's next week, I'll do something nice for them. It doesn't have to just be donuts. It could be other things too. And I actually recommend gift cards, because you've got a group of people kind of pooling their resources and sitting together in a tight space and kind of living in each other's environment. They may just want to order something to go or have some takeout delivered. And it's just a nice way, you know, to show somebody you care and that you appreciate and respect the hard work that they do. It's a small thing, but I know they would never ask for that. But on their behalf, I would like to suggest if folks want to give them a little recognition that they can do that next week. That'd be appreciated for them.
Yes, and if anybody of our viewers would like to do that, I can help facilitate that. You just need to get a hold of me on our Facebook page, and I can make sure you get in contact with the right person to do that. So, just a reminder before we close out, the Pulse Point app is not down. It's just there's just some maintenance going on because of the new CAD E-911 system. So if you've noticed that it's not working, that is why. It will continue to work in the near future. So, you know, because it's a great app to use whenever it is working, which is normally. And follow Hardin County Government on Facebook. Visit hardincountyky.gov for everything county related. Our next episode will be in May. We'll have that date and department coming on social media soon. Follow Hardin Local so you don't miss it. But if you're going to have to choose between Hardin Local and Hardin County Government, I'd prefer you to follow Hardin County Government's page today if you have to pick one. So thanks for watching. And do you guys have any other comments or anything else you wanted to say?
No, we're just glad to be here and kind of get the word out about what we do and what our people do.
Yes.
And quickly, I guess, you know, while we're talking about the fact there are some openings there, would I be wrong in saying if somebody, I mean, it'd be interesting to apply for a job you didn't know much about. Is it okay if somebody wanted to come and see or take some sort of a tour? Can that be arranged if somebody was a prospective candidate for a job?
Yes, we do that for candidates. We also offer tours for groups, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, church groups, whoever. If you want to come in and see what we do, we can facilitate that. Just give us a call at the number on the screen.
Yes. Okay. And then Kim and Lucky just said thanks for all you all do. Thank you
Thanks,
for the
Mom
comment.
and Dad.
I love when my mom and dad do that. Blaze Barber, any job openings? We just talked about that, Blaze. Yeah, they do have job openings. You can head on over to hardincountygovky.com. Let me throw it up again on screen so it's easy to see. That's the website you go to, and if you after that slash, you can put jobs in there, JOBS, and it'll take you straight to that page. And thanks for the question. We got any more? We got a couple others. Teresa just said, thanks for your service to our community. Thank you, Teresa, for the comment. And I think we're good. We got through everything. Well, I think that these Hardin County Government live streams are doing pretty good. We actually had more viewers on this one than we have had on any of the Hardin County Government ones. We had over 40 people watching at one time. So that's
you had the best department on here. What did you expect?
Yeah.
That's right. Well, thanks you guys for joining us. And thanks, Brian, for helping me get this organized and set up. I think this series has been great. And we'll see. Thank you, audience, for joining. We'll see you guys next month. Stay in the know.
Thank you.
Hardin County.